Okay, I'd like to remind everybody that this meeting is being recorded by the WTCMUD1, and the recording will be posted to the MUD website shortly after the meeting. And it is also being recorded by another party other than the MUD, but we encourage you to submit your questions to the WTCMUD1 if you have any questions. Okay, we're going to start with the public comment section of our meeting today, and the first person up today is Linda Fobb, and she wants to make a public comment.
Thank you, Catherine. At the December 9th DRC meeting, I presented evidence that your deed enforcement contractor was being dishonest with the residents in Anderson Mill West. I gave an example of a letter they sent to a resident in Section 1 claiming their work trailer was not allowed to be parked near or on any lot. The deed for that section clearly has no such restriction. On December 13th, after that DRC meeting, I submitted my concerns to the management committee consisting of Art Medrano and Chris Rocco, outlining the unethical way in which Sage Management was hired and evidence that demonstrates this contractor is perpetrating fraudulent acts against the residents in this district. Recently, another communication between Sage Management and another resident in Anderson Mill West surfaced, and once again, Sage Management deceived that resident. The woman asked if she needed ACC approval for an improvement project on her property and had attached the October 14th, 2019 letter from Beth Jones, the current president of the Anderson Mill West Neighborhood Association, that acknowledges no legal ACC standing in Anderson Mill West. Sage replied to the woman, and I quote, "The notice refers to rulings that the ACC has made in the past regarding clarifications on deed restrictions. Any new construction projects will still need to get ACC approval." That answer is not truthful. No resident in Anderson Mill West or Hunters Glen 2 is bound to an ACC. They are free to do as they please with their property. Jimmy and Diana Sagnas, the proprietors of Sage Management, have attended every public meeting of this board for the past 13 months. They have watched the entire unraveling of the fictitious ACC, and yet they continue to perpetuate a lie. It is unclear whether Sage Management's spreading of misinformation is done intentionally or out of ignorance, but neither is acceptable for a company under contract with this district. Now we have two pieces of irrefutable evidence that Sage Management has been grossly negligent and has perpetrated fraud in the performance of their duties. In the contract that binds them to this district, that is grounds for immediate termination. I'm asking this board, how many pieces of evidence will it take before you stand up for the people of this district and not your friends and self-interests? And I would like an answer to that question. Thank you.
Okay, our next person on the sign-in sheet is Sarah Teal, and she wants to make a public comment. And you want to talk about agenda items 10 and 15?
Exactly.
Okay.
Over the last several months, I have reported concerns that many of the information sources in our community are actively suppressing documents related to the rights of constituents in this MUD district. One of the most concerning instances of this suppression is the exclusion of the legal opinion offered by David Atwood in mid-September regarding the Anderson Mill West Architectural Control Committee. This letter was disallowed from being posted on Valente Hills HOA Facebook page, both Anderson Mill West Next Door groups, and most disturbingly, both the Anderson Mill West Neighborhood Association Facebook group and the Anderson Mill West Neighborhood Association webpage. The Neighborhood Association, that purported that it was looking after neighbors' interests, hid away a document asserting their property rights. The response to the community at that time was that they were going to offer some sort of legal response to show that the ACC impanelment was somehow justified. Well, 5 months have passed, and the Neighborhood Association is back with its handout for legal fees. So what is the outcome? I assume the outcome is that the ACC was impaneled illegally. Since the Anderson Mill West ACC form was changed at the end of November to reflect that it is now a voluntary form. If this board is going to utilize district funds to have a lawyer make a determination about the legality of the ACC, it seems logical that that outcome would be shared publicly instead of hidden away like the original letter from Atwood. Because the letter has not been published, the Atwood letter, to the MUD website, I would like to read some excerpts from it as a part of my comments this evening so that those watching may have a sense of its contents. If anyone watching this would like to read the entire document, it is currently pinned to the top of the community forum for WTCMUD1 Facebook. If you do not use Facebook, you can email forum@wtcmud1@gmail.com and request a copy. The following are some excerpts from that letter that was presented by David Atwood on September the 12th of 2019. Dear board members, our law firm represents homeowners residing in the Anderson Mill West community. It has come to our attention that the Anderson Mill West Neighborhood Association, through a purported transfer of authority by the Williamson-Travis County Municipal Utility District Number 1, is asserting unauthorized authority over homeowners in these communities through an invalid architectural control committee. You are hereby placed on notice that any further assertions of authority of the Neighborhood Association and the ACC over this community will give rise to claims in a court of competent jurisdiction against the Neighborhood Association, the ACC, and the MUD. As you know, in the early 1980s, developer Bill Milburn, Inc. began to subdivide and develop a series of sections of real property called Anderson Mill West, with eventually becoming composed of 21 individual sections, each with their own declaration of restrictions, and with Section 19 and 20 comprising what we refer to as Valente Hills. And Valente Hills is the only one with a mandatory HOA, obviously. It appears that most, if not all, of the sections provide for the creation of an ACC and names initial members of the ACC to supervise the installment and modifications of improvements in the communities. Although the declarations provide for an initial impaneling of the ACC, there is no underlined manner or method of replacing these initial members provided by the declarations. At some point, the MUD was created and began to enforce deed restrictions within the various Anderson Mill West communities pursuant to Texas Water Code 54.237. Sometime subsequent to the creation of the MUD, the Anderson Mill West Neighborhood Association was created as a voluntary, again underlined voluntary, membership association purportedly representing the interests of homeowners throughout the community. On or about January 19, 2011, the MUD purportedly conveyed to the Neighborhood Association its rights, if any, to appoint or act as the ACC of each of these sections of the community. However, nothing in these sets of facts provide the necessary authority by statute or restrictive covenant to the MUD, the Neighborhood Association, or the ACC for any of them to bind homeowners in the community to their decisions. And then he goes on to say there are simply no provisions in any of the declarations that evidence any method or manner of impaneling a new ACC committee with new members after the initial set of members. There are also no provisions for the assignment of such ACC authority to any third-party entity. He also says the declarations do not create a mandatory homeowners association for sections 1 through 18. Any subsequent creation of such an association must be done through an amendment to the declarations so as to make them binding upon homeowners. Any attempt to create a homeowners association outside of that process will make such membership a voluntary matter and will not obligate community members to participate in nor abide by any decisions made by the voluntary homeowners association. In essence, such a voluntary, as we know it, neighborhood association operates solely as a social group for its members without any obligations or authority over non-members. If the neighborhood association continues to operate under the rubric of some purported authority over the ACC from the MUD's purported governmental conveyance, then the requirements of the Texas Public Information Act will apply to the neighborhood association, and all of its records must be open and provided to the public. He ends his letter by saying, please note that if the neighborhood association continues to operate under the premise that the ACC has authority over the Anderson Mill West communities, litigation will be filed in a court of competent jurisdiction, causes of action will be pursued, and injunctive relief will be sought against all respective parties to enjoin any further violation of the declarations. Thank you.
Okay. No. Okay, I'm going to close the public comment section, portion of our meeting right now. Okay. So I'm going to move on to agenda item number 2, online postings, inaccurate or misleading site names, district information, communications to residents, etc. Does anybody have anything that they want to comment on?
Yeah, I want to comment.
Make sure you turn your mic on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're good.
Okay, I want to comment. It has come to our attention that there is a process that has been taking place in the community wherein Linda Fobb has been filing complaints against people, residents, with respect to deed restrictions, and then going to those homes and offering to help those people. And in effect, using the process of deed restriction complaints to try to recruit people to her cause of rejecting and objecting to this MUD. An open records request that was conducted by some persons in our neighborhood association revealed that something like 90% of the complaints that were filed for deed restrictions were coming from Linda Fobb. And it has become clear that there is a process underway to try to recruit people by filing complaints and then going to those people and offering to help them. Furthermore, as a result of complaints from people that they were being harassed by Linda Fobb, we have now instituted a program of anonymity for those persons, and as a result, we have gotten complaints at the last meeting from Sarah and from Linda to the effect that because of this anonymity, they are no longer able to, quote, help, unquote, people who have complaints, who have deed restriction sightings against them. So be aware, residents of the community, be aware that if Linda shows up at your house to offer to help you with a deed restriction violation, she probably submitted the complaint to begin with. That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Management report, number 2, number 3, management report from Sage. Okay.
Our summer violations for December of 2019. The update on the unregistered inoperable vehicles is one that we had going on in HG1. Has been cleared.
Is your mic on?
Trailer. Whoops, you're right. Thank you. Is it on now?
Yes.
There it is. So the trailer that we were dealing with in HG1 and the scooter has been removed. They are working on the backyard, getting that environmental hazard cleaned up. We still have one unregistered inoperable vehicle going on that we're working on for that one. The numbers were way down. Trash cans in view, I think we had 7 total violations for the month.
Okay.
We did have a lot of trash cans at the curb, but that's an issue with the trash service, and that was in January at the last day report. We had a moratorium on overnight parking, so I don't have anything to report on that. If you want to move to the next one, fines and return mail. Like I said, the Madeline trailer scooter is gone. The owner has been working with us, in communication with us regularly as to what he's working on. On Black Cherry, the trailer that we talked about, that was a traffic hazard because they park it on the street and it's caused some accidents. They had 2 more violations in December. They have not made any payments on their fines. They did move the trailer to the driveway, but it's still full of brush.
Which section
and
is that?
debris. 2.
2.
Um,
So they're still they're in violation whether it's the street or the driveway.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So, if you all want to turn to the appeals on I did put your summary of December. The numbers were down. I was surprised. We still did the day tours, but I was thinking we were going to have a lot of trash everywhere, the trash cans.
It looks like you have only one appeal. Is that correct?
Yes, we only have one appeal.
How many times have they been fined?
Well, they were fined, but they cleaned it up before the fine could get posted. So when we met, we just said, since they cleaned it up, don't worry about it. But they've had some other issues with work and that, and she admitted that they were trying to make ends meet by running the business out of the house. But they have cleaned it all up. The husband now has a job, and it won't happen anymore. And she's asking for the fine that they currently have to be waived.
Has there been any previous waiver fines for them?
We didn't even put it, they cleaned it up before we could even post it.
I see.
So it never got to the waiver.
I move that we waive the fine on this person.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Now, I had an email request to update you all on the fines. The
Right.
ones that were still current. Most of them have to do with the ones that are involved at legal, London Lane, a trash can in view, the Madeline Loop one that we put in abeyance, the Black Cherry Drive went to legal last month. I don't know where we're at on that one,
I think so.
the trailer. And the constable visited them, and they moved it out of the street, and it's in the driveway. But they're up to 5 fines.
Okay, so we got more than one black cherry.
Yes.
So,
Is that the same black cherry?
no, we've got number 4, and then we've got number 5.
You should have it.
I don't have it either.
No, there was just an email. Oh, I'm sorry. No, but not everybody.
You guys have it.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Sharon,
Okay. Okay, while they're looking at that,
Black cherry.
The first one, number 5, is the one we just waived right now.
okay, so we waived number
We
5.
just waived number 5 right now.
Okay. So it's in number 3, is that
So
what
it's
we're-
number 3.
Okay.
It has $550 in DRC fines. They're currently on a payment plan for their water,
Okay,
but.
but they're paying they're having to pay everything. They're on a payment plan for everything, right? Okay, so have they asked for, have they appealed anything? Okay, so they're on a payment plan, so we're just not gonna worry about that since okay, so the question becomes, we've got, London Lane is with you, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're just not gonna worry about
Let
that.
me ask a question on that.
Sure.
When did the moratorium, overnight parking moratorium end?
It ends on the 20th.
It ends on January 20th. So on that London Lane, that lawsuit, we put on hold because of the overnight parking moratorium. Now that that's ending,
Okay.
then we'll be in a position to file the lawsuit if there's a violation.
Okay, so then we also then have Cortez.
They have not filed an appeal.
They have not filed an appeal, but they're not paying their fines either.
But you said on here, that they've paid in full, but they plan to file an appeal.
Oh, that's what's up at the top. Never
Yeah.
mind. That's at the top. And then we have Madeline Loop. Are they with?
We gave them until March the 1st. At
Okay.
the last meeting, and everything's in abeyance until they clean up, and then we were gonna work with
Okay.
Julie Potts.
Oh,
on
that's right. That's
consequences.
Hunter's Glen. Okay, never mind. Okay. And then we've got Hannah Kay.
Hannah Kay has not made contact with the office for the payment plan,
Okay.
so she was hoping it would all go away, and
If she pretended nothing was going on. Okay.
so I've given her all the information, who she has to contact. I've given her phone numbers. I've CC'd her on the email so that she can contact me directly. She just
Okay.
hasn't.
Can you tell us whether any of these people might be eligible for waivers based on no previous waivers? and based on the problems being corrected. And if that's the case, do we need to tell them that?
Well, number 6 on Hannah K, we discussed it, and you all decided to not waive it, to put her on a payment plan because of the numerous other ones, and we had already waived.
Okay, so we went through that already.
Yeah.
Okay, was there anyone else on this list?
All
Is there
it took
anyone
me-
else who would be eligible for a waiver if they?
The only one would be the one on Madeline Loop, but you're gonna discuss it on March the 1st with Julie Potts
Yeah.
and decide
Okay.
whether you wanna waive
Okay.
it or not.
Okay.
Okay. So really, the issue is number 6, is this resident has been told what the process is, and she's just sitting on her hands. Am I saying that correctly? Hoping that it'll just go away if she doesn't, if okay.
Her arguments are that she just doesn't have the money, but the violations continue, and they think that it isn't a violation, so.
Yeah. I think Louis, Bill, I think the best thing to do is just to write a demand letter for this person, just to get them off center, that contact us, come talk to us.
Not her, but her visitor that is parking overnight has called, and we have visited with him, and
So,
the first time, when y'all waived it the first time, she had said, it's not gonna happen anymore, and it's happened 2 more times.
okay,
And then we went into moratorium, so.
okay,
And I let her know, the moratorium ends on the 20th, please, make sure that the car's not outside, but
right,
parked outside
okay.
on the street.
Well, what do you want to do, Louis?
Well, it seems to me we've got to get it off dead center, and so I like your idea, is just do a demand letter.
Let's do a demand letter.
And in the, Bill, would it be conceivable that in the demand letter you could indicate that she could set up a payment plan, but she's got to come forward, or you take
She has
action?
she has to make the request.
Yes, I can include the option of her requesting a payment plan in any letter I send her.
Okay. Okay.
But it would be, she has an option of, how come I can't get this on?
There you go. You're good.
So if she doesn't respond, what would you suggest might happen then?
Well, I think in the letter that I write, I'd set a deadline for her to either get on a payment plan or pay in full or whatever remedy.
Or you'll
is
ask the
considered.
board to take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
I move that we do that.
Okay, and I'll second that. Oh, do you have anything you wanted to add?
She doesn't seem to understand that it's a violation. I mean, is that what I'm
Well,
hearing?
we don't know. It may be that she just
That's
doesn't.
what you're saying. She's arguing that it's not a violation?
Oh, she doesn't, she doesn't
Well,
like it.
Again, on this last email, I told her you were responsible for, because her excuse was, well, nobody contacted me about the payment plan, and I said, no. I specifically let you know, and I told you the contact person, it's your responsibility to contact, Lee Catlin and set up your payment plan. But you need to know that this is a rule, this is,
Okay, she's not arguing that it's not illegal to, okay.
Chris, how would you feel about going to visit her yourself?
I'd be glad.
Because you've done that many
Yeah,
times in the
right.
past, and sometimes that breaks the laws there.
Sometimes it does, and, maybe come to the conclusion that, what her options are, and let her decide.
You can do that. That doesn't have to stop what Bill is going to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I would say, I mean, you've been pretty good at handling that kind of thing in the past.
What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, we'll do both.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, Chris, you go to talk to people and they don't answer the door or whatever.
Yes, that's true, but at least I tried.
2806, okay.
Did we vote on the motion already?
Oh, okay,
No, we
so
haven't.
we had a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Okay, we don't need a motion to ask Chris to go talk to the
No,
lady.
no,
Chris can just do that.
right. Okay, so what else do we need? Was there anything else that we needed to go over in the management report?
I put the activity that we've had going on for you
Okay.
to review, and that's, if you have any questions on that.
All right. Have any of these been, I know that some of these have been resolved. How many of these are, I'm looking at the activity report. Are some of these still outstanding?
No, they're pretty much, they've been taken care of. I mean, we're
Okay.
still doing the open records research, I mean, as of yesterday, but that we're waiting on
Okay.
as those come in.
Okay.
And then, Jimmy stays in contact with, the gentleman on Madeline just to see where he is
Okay.
in his process. And we just took care of one of them, on the interpretation on the Valente Hills HOA CCRs.
Right.
I just showed it to Bill before, and I
Okay.
got that taken care of.
You're referring to the fence issue?
So,
Okay, so
I
am
wanna
I,
make sure that the letter had the right.
so am I
interpreting?
interpreting Valente Hills correctly that in order to repair their fence, they have to get ACC approval to,
They have, their CCRs are written differently.
okay,
And, they have something on exterior maintenance, but then they have another section that it just, deals with fences, and the wording was kind of ambiguous, and I didn't wanna make a mistake and send the wrong
Okay.
information on the letter, so I
Okay.
went ahead and cleared it with Bill to make sure that everything was.
Okay.
Catherine, I told them that, and Art and I agree, that the language in the deed restriction could very reasonably be interpreted on maintenance,
Okay.
to apply to fences.
Really?
But the problem is that in that paragraph, it says maintenance, and then it describes many, many things that need to be maintained, but does not include fences. So it's ambiguous.
okay,
So it seems to me the easy solution would be to have the ACC of Valente Hills issue an interpretation
Yes.
that maintenance refers to fences.
Well,
Okay.
And then you would be clear.
And we had another one that we dealt with in the past that was ambiguous, so I just thought, take care of both of them at the same time.
okay,
Sure.
okay.
Now, how's that going to happen? Are you going to get to them and tell them to get an interpretation, or should we?
If I could clarify, I looked at the provision. Section 2.8 says that all improvements have to be maintained and
Correct.
repaired. Fence is clearly an improvement. The rest of that paragraph goes on with specific examples of maintenance, it says including but not limited to. So
But
it's
it doesn't
very
say
clear.
including but not limited to.
One
You
thing-
Well,
infer
in the
that.
examples.
Once it's repaired, exterior damage and wear and tear.
Yeah.
In example.
Yeah.
So to me, it's very clear that you have to repair your fence if it needs repaired. You don't need an ACC interpretation on that.
But they have
It's
to make
very
that
clear.
interpretation.
No, but he's
Yeah.
saying, no, he doesn't think an interpretation is required. He thinks the
Now,
language.
if you wanted to modify your fence or build a new fence, obviously you go to ACC, but as far as obligation to maintain and repair, it's very
He
clear in the
thinks it's
first
clear.
sentence of 2.8.
But who makes the call? They do, right? They're
Well,
gonna,
Bill is saying, in his opinion, the language is clear. That it
so
should-
was that allow them to?
So that would mean that that would mean that we can instruct the deed restriction enforcement contractor to go ahead and operate on the basis of that.
Right.
In other words, there's no doubt in your mind that that's what it
No.
means, includes.
No doubt. And the request is coming from Valente Hills. They're asking us to send a letter. And that would be the authority for it.
Can you abide by that?
I can.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so it's done, and then we don't need to ask for interpretation.
okay, okay.
Not on
Just
this
as long as
one.
we're
You're
not
comfortable?
interpreting.
No,
Not on
it's
this
not
one,
us,
but
it's
we
Bill.
still have the other one that wasn't corrected on the inoperable vehicle and the unregistered vehicle that was never addressed because they never contacted us.
Okay, so that's a situation where the Valente Hills Valente Hills HOA needs to modify their deed restrictions, or do they need an interpretation?
I think Bill had said at that time that we needed to get interpretation from them or.
Okay, so we're gonna need to put that on the list of things to talk about. Okay. So it's the unregistered vehicles, am I saying that right?
And the inoperable vehicle that we dealt with on Castlewood, do you remember?
Unregistered and inoperable. Okay, vehicles, this is Valente Hills.
So are we saying the language is not clear? Is that?
Well, it's my understanding that the Valente Hills deed restrictions do not specifically address unregistered vehicle or inoperable vehicles. Period, whether they're parked in the driveway, is that the issue?
If I remember correctly, it had a time period in there, and the time period made it hard for us to enforce.
Okay,
So even though we were taking pictures and it was an ongoing situation, I think they had 4 cars that were inoperable,
okay,
and they were just parked there. And we were sending them letters because we were instructed to send them letters, because their board
right,
were the ones that reported it. But when it got taken to Bill said, we can't enforce it based on this time frame that
okay.
was in there.
Okay, so in order to enforce it the way the HOA wants it to be enforced, we're gonna request that they have to make some adjustments to the verbiage of their documents. Okay, got it. Okay. Okay. Okay, we've already taken care of number 4, pending appeals. Number 5, report from the DRC and act on a restrictive covenant enforcement. Do we have anything that we need to discuss under that item, Louis?
Other than what we've already done, I don't think.
Okay. Agenda item 6, district rules covering violations of deed restrictions and procedures and tasks associated with enforcement with those rules. Bill, do we have anything to discuss?
Not today.
Okay.
Well, we got something from your office today relative to the enforcement, I'm sorry, the motorcycle issue and
Right.
and you researched it, and so your office came up with it so that we can post it on the website.
A
I've
couple
got it.
of meetings ago, or last meeting, we talked about the DPS vehicle. The board approved non-enforcement of authorized emergency vehicles, and at that time I said we probably need to start listing them. And so I did send out to the DRC,
Right.
it hasn't
Isn't
gone
that-
to the whole board yet, a
Oh,
summary,
I'm sorry. Yes.
to
You should have
look
done
at for
Yeah, I've read
posting.
that, yes.
But I can pass it out to everybody if you want to look at it now.
It wasn't sent to everybody, so we
Right,
should
but
pass
I
it
can
out
pass it
now.
out. Yeah. I got a copy.
So these are decisions that we have made in the past, but that now you found them where they originated so that we can then post
Yeah,
them.
and right now there's only 2 of them, but I think as a ongoing policy that we ought to maintain this on the website. It's not on there right now, but we said we will start summarizing. And so really all I've done here, I mean, you can organize it or however you want, but all I've done is quote what happened in the minutes. And the second one are in the minutes that'll be approved tonight. The first one are in minutes from 2008 that we found on motorcycles.
And I would point out that the first item applies only to Anderson Mill West.
Correct.
Okay.
So we can deal with this now if you like, but basically I got it to you guys so you can look at the wording before it goes on the website.
Right. So do we need to vote to put this on the website?
I think it'd probably be a good idea at this stage if
Okay.
we get started, and then we'll just have a place where, as we have other determinations, or if we locate anything from the past, we can put it on this document.
Okay.
Not so moved.
Okay, I'll go ahead and second that. So what we're gonna do is, put these, on our website. Is there any more, discussion about posting these and creating and carving out a place on our website for these types of interpretations to be listed? Okay. All in favor? Okay. Okay, so that was number 6. Okay. Number 7, process of reporting deed restriction violations, including communications with Sage Management and directors. Do we have anything to discuss? Okay. Yes, all of our phones are finally working. Number 8, bulk trash violations. How are we doing? Do we have any ongoing issues?
I haven't heard of anything. You know that they screwed up on the
Recycle?
recycle, and then they just decided to pick everything up 2 weeks in a row, and now we're back on a regular.
But, okay, I was gonna, since you brought it up, I'll ask the next question is am I the only street that didn't get their, or section that didn't get their recycle pick it up?
No, Lake Wayne Oaks hasn't, and we haven't either.
Okay, because my section's like, there's an awful lot of full cans as I was driving to work,
Yeah.
driving
Right,
in this
and
morning.
you're in A or B.
Well, it was today. It was
Okay.
my day.
Well,
That's
I
all I
know,
knew.
but all I'm saying is we've had a little bit of misunderstanding on the part, because there was a flyer that went out
Right.
that screwed up on the dates. And
Oh, it was wrong?
yes, and then they sent out another one, and then today they corrected it.
Oh, I didn't
okay.
realize that. Okay.
Jeez.
Okay.
So right now, we've got them where they'll basically come back and pick anything up we want. So
Right.
if they've missed something, I'll just call Paul and tell him to come back out here and pick it up.
Well, Yucca Lane didn't get picked up.
Okay.
Tierra Blanco didn't get
I'll
picked
just
up.
make sure, they should be able to
Section
see those yellow tops of those cans.
Yes,
So
okay,
I'll
okay.
make sure they come back.
Okay,
They probably ran out of time.
okay. Well, that's what I was wondering too, if they ran out of
That
time.
sometimes is an issue.
Yeah, okay. So I'll tell my husband to go put it back out on the
Yes, don't
street.
put that go.
Item number 9, presentations by neighborhood associations and homeowners associations within the district. There's nobody here today. Item number 10, reports from the ACC. Nobody's here right now. Okay. Number 11, approval of minutes from prior DRC meetings.
Yeah. I looked at them. I looked at them.
Okay, you're happy with them?
Yeah, I move approval of the minutes.
Okay. Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor? Okay. Oh, you need a, yeah, you need an original, okay. Okay, is that the only one?
I think that's the only one.
Huh? Oh, it's a pencil. Good thing.
I love that.
Agenda item 12, coordination of reporting between Sage Management and Infomark on fines. Yep, I think we're on top of that. Number 13, lawsuit against owners, Bernie, London Lane, et cetera, et cetera. What do you have to talk about?
We already talked briefly about London Lane. Since the moratorium is ending, we have a lawsuit drafted that can be filed if there's a violation after the moratorium. So that one is pending. On the Bernie Drive lawsuit, we've had no response from the attorney for the other side. So we're no longer anticipating settlement. So we're preparing for
Okay,
trial at this point. Trial date's in March.
okay, okay. Agenda item 14, restricted government management agreement between district and Sage.
Right. The Sage contract, our office was asked to review that. Matt of our office has reviewed in details, met with Sage, is prepared. I don't know if he sent it to you today. If not,
At
it'll
the end
go
of the
to-
day, yeah.
It'll be a red line for you guys to talk to him about the details. And then the committee will come back after that review with Matt with recommendations on what to do with the contract.
Okay.
Let's go back to the Bernie. You said that this trial is set for March. Does that mean the court has set a date, or you're asking for that date?
The case was on the dismissal docket a number of months ago, and we requested it be retained, and that was the date that the
That was the
court
date it was set
Yeah.
before, okay. And I assume that the defendant's been served, so they know that that date is,
Correct.
okay.
Funding for and interactions with neighborhood associations, homeowners associations within the district to facilitate operation of architectural control committees, deed restriction enforcement, and other functions of such associations. We don't have anything to report today. Agenda item 16, video recording of board meetings by the district.
Yeah. I put that on there as a general item. We've, in the last few meetings, we've approved the system to videotape. We approved some additional services on summarizing or timestamping. So I just left it on there for now in case there was something else. We can certainly take it off if we're done.
I would like to leave it on because we're still experimenting with what we're doing.
Oh,
To
okay.
see whether we want to keep it the way it is or change it or what.
Okay. Agenda item 17, answers to prior questions from residents regarding district matters. I don't have anything. Does anybody else?
Not for this one.
Okay, and agenda item 18, I need somebody to adjourn the meeting.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Anybody second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
That was
Wow.
awfully fast.
Wow. Yes, first, second.
This is the Valentine Hills. And it talks about inoperable vehicles, but immediately goes to night parking. That's what the, so all I need to do is change and add
Yes, sure.
a small piece.
They gave us a copy of that.
Yeah, I
It's
think,
in like 2 days, so you better hurry. Get on that.
oh, really? And it's the West Williamson County Municipal Utility. Wait a minute, that's not us. Is there a West Williamson County Municipal Utility District number 1?
No, I think they added it.
Yeah. Okay.
There must be.
Hey, is it through an advisor?
Okay.
Bill, just a question.
What's that? No.
This one's yours, right?
You want me early or late?
Oh,